Log on to patreon.com/Dane Calloway or paypal.me/Dane Calloway to support me, my channel, and my content. Merchandise is now available at I'mJustHereToMakeYouThink.com.
You are now listening to ethnographic researcher Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
OCO, brothers and sisters, relatives, free thinkers, and spiritual warriors. Today, I wanted to go over a couple of things. There was a couple of topics that came about, and I said, okay, let me pause on what I'm working on and get this information out, because there's a lot of questions that came up. That usually happens. It comes from people that are new incomers on my channel, new subscribers. And I want to, even though they should, I highly recommend that they go back and watch my previous videos to have a better understanding. And I'm gonna put this out because of one of my recent posts, drew some questions from a lot of the newcomers. I posted up a post, it was a tweet from Xavier C. Miller that said, I know a black man who paid close to $20K for paperwork from the state treasury that proved his ancestors were here before slavery and owned 20 plus acres of land in Virginia. After receiving the docs, the state took the land from the family that lived there and gave it back to him. Now, that is amazing. That is a very good thing. And there's a lot of other people that are getting this stuff done as well. And that's the reason why I said that people are getting it done. So what are you waiting for? That was the caption at the top. Not in all cases will you need to spend $20,000 on your paperwork, but just note that some documents you might have to pay for the original, not a copy of the original, but you might have to, sometimes pay for the original. I know I had to do that a couple of times because copies of the original could be changed. It could have been changed, because they're trying to hide that from you. So yeah, certain people, including myself, we had to pay. Okay, so regardless, even if you try to go for a birth certificate or a family portfolio, which you could request, that will hopefully include your mother's parents or your father's parents. It depends on what the information will include in that portfolio. But you would like to go grab as many records as possible of your family member. So now we're on that topic really quick. Let's jump into some basic knowledge of where you guys that are just beginning, where you guys should start. You want to begin your research starting with you, not all the way back to your great grandmother or something like that. No, you want to start with you. You want to grab all the records on yourself. You want to grab birth records. You want to grab, if you are married now, get the marriage records. You want to grab all your records. If you were involved in a war or you enlisted in the army, something like that, okay? You need to get all of those records. Now, go backwards. Start with your mother. Your mother, grab all of her records. What you're looking for is birth and death records, marriage certificates, registration deeds. Like if they had particular properties, you might have to go through registration deeds, or you have to go through treasurer deeds. Like in this case, this guy right here, he paid $20K for paperwork from the state treasury. Not meaning that he paid $20K for the land. No, he paid $20K from the paperwork from the state treasury. Okay. When I hear the state treasury, that lets me know that the treasury department was involved because of the fact that his ancestors' land was taken in taxes. That's the only time they get involved. Okay, that's in that particular case. I went over this before in one of my previous documentaries. And that in his particular case, he went through the process of how it goes during the tax lien system. And that's what I was talking to people about in which documentary was that? I can't remember right off, and I don't want to be wrong. But I went over the tax lien system. Basically, what happened was that his ancestors' property, they couldn't afford the taxes. So it went delinquent. And what the treasurer does, they take it. They take it in taxes, and then they sell it back. They sell the property back to whoever, whoever wants to buy it. They're able to do that fraudulently. That's a whole fraudulent system. But so he wanted to get it back, and he did, and it cost him a pretty penny. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will go through the same thing. And people are like, well, why did he spend $20K for some land? Because that land is probably valued higher than that. In most cases, 20 acres is a lot. Like I'm gonna show you right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, you see how it says 20 acres is $215,000? The value of land is way more than what you're gonna spend for the documents that you would need to prove your case. Keep in mind, he paid for those documents knowing that it's gonna prove his case, knowing that he's gonna come out victorious. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about that, period. Apparently he must have had a copy of it and wanted the original. Like, nah, hold on, look, here's the original. Now, this ain't no copy. Let's go. Give me that land back. And everything that's on that land is his. And this is, I don't know if you heard this before. I don't know if many of you heard this before, but I've said this numerous amounts of times. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not about getting a check. This is about getting back what's owed to you. Okay? What's owed to you and your family, and that's land. Land can take care of a lot of issues that our people are experiencing right now. But not to go too far into that, to go back to the topic of researching, you want to gather as much information as possible from your living elders or your living family members that might know certain things of your living elders or past elders. You want to write all that stuff down. If you have a camera phone, you want to record it, video record it, or if you have an audio recorder app on your cell phone or whatever device you want to use, you want to record it. You want to document what all of your family members will tell you. You want to write all that stuff down as well. You want to make sure you have the birth and death dates, everything. You want to have dates, first and last names, either before they got married and after they got married, if they got married, You want to have all of that in your possession so you can take this information that you gathered from your family members and go to places like the National Archives or your public library if you can't make it to a National Archives facility. The reason why I said your public library, and it depends on the library, okay, that varies, because if it's a historical library, they will have access to the National Archives facilities by way of link on their computer. They will have an access link. Very similar to Ancestry.com, but except for Ancestry.com is a little limited as far as what they will post on their website as far as records are concerned. So you can go the free route, but just know that everything in life ain't free. So you're not going to get everything. Maybe you might not be able to get everything on a free basis, when you're looking for records. As a matter of fact, I think that's impossible. I know you're going to have to come out of pocket for certain records. So I'm not going to sit here and sell you a dream and let you know that everything is free. It's not. And you can see that he was willing to pay $20,000 to get their land deeds from the state treasury, from the Treasury Department. And it happened. And he got his land. But see, he's not the only one. There's so many other people that share their stories with me. And I remember there's a guy that's on Instagram, and brother, I'm talking about you. So if you reach back out to me, hopefully you see this video, reach back out to me and let me know if it's okay to share with other people, because I would love to share that video with other people. I just didn't know, but it was beautiful. This gentleman was in Maryland and he showed me all the acres on camera, showed me all the acres of land that him and his father received back based off of him getting those land deeds that his family had in the past, but they had to, of course, do research on their family to make sure, to verify that was their ancestors' land prior to it being claimed in taxes. See, in most cases, when it comes to land, the majority of our ancestors lost their land due to the prices of taxes being raised. When that happened, a lot of our ancestors lost their land, or they either lost it or sold it. They were forced to sell it. Okay, that's another thing. They were forced to sell it. You'll see that a lot. But The only way you're gonna see that is if you do research on your family. And for those that are turning their nose up, saying, oh no, my people came from Africa, we came off of a boat, and et cetera, keep in mind, those records exist as well. Once you go to that public library that has, and make sure you call that library, by the way, to make sure that they have access to the National Archives link that they will have, so you could just access those records. You're looking for the microfilm records, you're looking for all records, any and all records. But in this particular case, to those that want to claim that they're African, they got the passenger list and the index, and they got that, right? You can find out. You can find out who came off of those boats. They have the index to the passenger list of vessels. Matter of fact, I think it's called that. It's called the index to passenger list of vessels arriving at such and such, like arriving at Charlestown, South Carolina, arriving at Hampton, Virginia, just as an example. You can find out if your ancestors came off of a boat from West Africa right now. Then it won't be no, dang, you wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong all day long, but I'm telling you right now that the majority of our people that are here in America are descendants of those who are indigenous to this land, and they did not come off of a boat. They were already here. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So you don't gotta listen to me. You could do it on your own. That's the whole point. You could find out on your own. Now, the conversation went to, reparations. Everybody wanted to go, try to get some money. And how? When money didn't exist at the time, our ancestors were so-called suffering from this enslavement. See? The Federal Reserve note, that's 1900s. What type of money you think you about to get? Okay? On top of that, and then what you really need to focus on is the fact that slavery is still happening right now, because what is it? I don't even know why it was called slavery, because it was technically employment. Our ancestors did everything out here, top, bottom, and helped the palefaces get it done. On top of that, of course, we went into trade deals with them. That's what I mean by deals. We went into deals with them, but the tables got turned. Things were being said that was going to work in both parties' favor, but it didn't come out that way. Like I said, they didn't come with guns, they came with flowers. And the gun was in their back pocket. That means that they got friendly with you and said, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna make sure that everything work out for both sides of our families. We're gonna go into business together and we're gonna prosper. Trust me, no. I know you never heard of currency before, but trust me, this is gonna work out for you. But keep in mind, before even that term currency came about, they were already working off of a credit system. Our ancestors didn't have a form of money. What did they have? They have what they call a bartering system. I went over this before in one of my previous documentaries. All of the stuff that I'm mentioning right now is probably already out in my documentaries or getting ready to be released. And you guys know how my wife get on me about leaking stuff that I'm about to be presenting to you in a documentary. And the reason why, and I understand why she does that, is because you gotta have a better understanding of what I'm talking about, because I can know certain things and the way I present it to you is almost as if I'm expecting for you to know it, but I know you don't know it, but I'm trying to explain it. But the best way to explain it is to explain it in full detail on screen with proof versus me just saying it. So that's the reason why I will mention certain things, but you're really gonna get a full grasp and full detailed explanation on what I'm talking about throughout my documentaries. So I commend my wife for that she helped me with that, because she looks at the comments and definitely focuses on what the new people are saying, because they're coming in and they're like, okay, we understand, and they gotta watch like 2-3 videos, and then one of the videos they might have to watch 5 times just to catch it, but that's just them coming in. But those, once they get used to what I'm talking about and they start doing research on their own, then it puts the light onto dark areas that they had, throughout their mindset based off of the information that was already given to them in the past. So I know how this goes. I know how this could be difficult. This could be difficult for some of you, but don't get it twisted. We're all in this together. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna do this right. Okay, it's a process. I'm not saying that anything is gonna happen overnight. That you're gonna get land overnight, or you might get some money overnight. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I never stated that. No, at the end of the road, there's a strong possibility that you could get your ancestors' land back. There might be a smidgen possibility that you could get money at the same time, but I'm not going to make a promise and say, yeah, that's what you're going to get. No, that's not what this is about. I'm not trying to sell you this thing and say, hey, yeah, you're going to get some. No, this is what we need to do as a whole, as a group, as the so-called African Americans. Technically, we are the American Indians. They just changed our identities and made us think that we are somebody that we are not. That's what they have been doing. This has been happening. Now, since currency came in, or the Federal Reserve note came in, a lot of stuff went haywire. So you guys need to start going backwards on your research to find out what happened. And definitely do your research on your family members to find out what happened in your family individually. Okay, this will nip a lot of stuff in the butt. You could stop with the assumptions. You could stop with the, oh, I believe that's what that person said is a fact. You could stop all of that. You could know. This is what this is about. It's about knowing, not believing. It's about knowing. Okay, that's what you guys need to do. So yeah, like I said, you could check to see if your ancestors came off of those boats. Look for the passenger list. Okay, microfilms. When the vessels arrived, when disembark and embark. I'm not talking about no slavevoyages.org. I'm talking about some real records that will have your family members' names on it. If they ain't on there, then guess what? Okay, it's real simple, And see, those people that claim that they came from Africa, they know that. They know how easy it is. Some of them do, the ones that are out in the forefront, they know how easy it is for them to check. But see, they don't bother to check. What they gonna do? They're gonna run around and tell you to go take a genealogy DNA test because they don't got nothing else to stand on. That's why. We already know that a genealogy DNA test is BS, bad sociology. I put out an updated video and showed you who those genealogists are that stated that genealogy DNA testing is entertainment. Okay? You don't believe it? Oh well, we moving on. Now, there's another website called fold.com that only comes open at certain time periods for those records, but there's so many records that you could grab. You mainly once you focus on having your records from, let's just say you went to the vital statistics building in your state to get the records, like your birth or death records of your possibly your grandmother or grandfather's side, and you get those records from the vital statistics building. I know for a fact that certain states will give you a hassle, okay, we're trying to get that information. Some of those states will, and it'll be your own people, by the way, that's going to give you the runaround. We're trying to, you can try that though, just try it. Before you go to the National Archives or the library, try and see if your vital statistics building will give you the copies of those records. Okay, but National Archives, you're going to have to put in the order to get the original. You want the original. If you can't afford the original, that's fine. Get a copy of the original. Okay, that's fine. This is not about knocking somebody what they can't do. No, everybody can do this. Okay, everybody. I don't care how busy you are. Everybody can get this. If you want to make the changes happen, you got to make it happen for yourself. Period. Because ain't no person coming to save you. You gonna have to do it on your own. All right? Hands down. Now, you got people like me that are willing to assist, and we put our lives on the line for this. This ain't no joke. This is not no joke. We trying to get this done because why? We can't continue on in our generations like this, at this state, of life. We can't do that. We have to be prosperous, and we will be prosperous, and we will prevail, and we will excel. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Now, we know a lot of our older, our elder generations are dying off, but let's make sure that they're not dying in vain now. Same thing with our ancestors. Let's make sure they didn't die in vain. See, blood, sweat, and tears. They went through that to build this country. So blood, sweat, and tears. Let's make sure that none of that was done in vain. We owe it to them, okay? We owe it to them because, we do have a little slight privilege right now. Let's be real. I'm able to talk freely, not necessarily all the way freely, but this is somebody else's platform, but I'm still able to talk freely to you right now. Okay? Based off the fact that we have the internet, but I'm just saying, like, things have changed now, but it's still worse. Okay? As far as the community is concerned, we're not together. We're separated. We got to get together on this. This is what I'm about. I'm about the liberation of our people. Now, what I'm talking about as far as liberating is your mindset, because that's the first thing that they attacked. That I'm not talking about that goes for black and white, so-called black and white people. Attacked our mindset. Keep in mind that these pale faces had some of our ancestors help in order for them to come up. So when I'm talking about the enemy, keep in mind that has no skin complexion. That has no skin complexion, because when I did my research on a lot of this information, I noticed that there was a lot of prominent so-called black individuals that had their hand in it. I don't know what makes y'all think that the pale faces did this by themselves. You out your mind. But yeah, and then once you start getting that information, hopefully from the vital statistics, if not, then you could go to the county records. You could get the county records. Let me mention now, I almost forgot that county records is the next step. Okay, you could try that step before you even go to the National Archives. Gather as many county records as you can of that particular state. Make sure that you get in the county records of where that person was born, where the person passed, where the person got married. You need all of that, as much as you can. Then you want to take it to the next level. The next step is to try to gather more records from which the National Archives would have. You want to check microfilms. You basically want to check census records. You want to check the rolls. You want to see what they were classified as during that time period, and check all of the rolls, no matter what it is. You don't go in there looking for Indian rolls right away. Check and see what rolls they were placed upon. Check and see, because that part, them being on the Indian rolls, that part doesn't matter, because we already know what took place in order for them to switch our ancestors and throw us on different rolls, like the freedmen rolls, for example. So just focus on getting the records. Once you get all the records, then you don't have, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no question, lingering in the air about who you are. Keep in mind, they took your identity, they took your land, they took everything about you, they took your language, everything, your culture, your history, your spirituality. So get it back. Get it back. Get it back.